always, when I watch YouTube videos and like stuff of all these girls feeling happy on their engagement, I didn't feel that way. I felt like, oh my god, what am I doing? But I felt like I also had to tell everyone like I was engaged, like it was the appropriate thing to do. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tomilola Vanna. If you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. It would make my day. I don't know if you can tell, this video is kind of different. Jared is not here, and I want to say that this is not a clickbait. I did call off an engagement a couple of years ago. My dog is drinking water. So I was 20 going on 21. I just finished university. I met this guy who on paper was perfect. He was 8 years older than I was. I think the age difference is only relevant so you kind of like see like how immature I was at the time. This is almost 10 years ago. And everything was perfect. We used to fast and pray. Like all my friends were like, Tomilola rock, or me too. I was like, yeah, I found a husband. And I think everything seemed perfect until one day. I think that was the first time it felt like something is up. I checked his phone and I saw a couple of messages between him and this girl, and the girl was just saying, I miss you, and he was like, oh, I miss you too, I can't wait to see you. I was like, And so I asked him, I was like, what's going on here? And let me tell you what this guy told me. He said to me that he had a married friend at the time, and he said to me his married friend was forced into a marriage with the wife that he currently had, which was a big wedding at the time. Was forced into a marriage, and his married friend, this is a woman that his friend actually loves. I'm just going to call his friend K. So this is a woman that K loves, and like K is just using his phone to talk to this woman that he loves, and he wasn't the one doing it. And I swear I was young, I was stupid, like I fell for it. Like I was just mad at him. I was as a good Christian brother, you should not be doing this. Like, you shouldn't be allowing a man like cheat on his wife or like encouraging him to do it or be the aid. So that was like my only bone of contention. And now that I look back, I feel like this guy would have just gone home and he would have been like, because like, how on earth do you believe that kind of eba? But like that was the first time that it was like But like fast forward, everything kept going well. I went to uni, I went to England, and while I was in Cambridge, I had a dream. So at this point it was long distance. I had a dream that he was cheating on me. Hold on one second. And I remember kind of asking him about it. I was like, hey, I had this dream, and like, what's going on? And he said to me like, no, I'm not doing anything. And like, it's like, I'm not doing anything, like, you're being crazy, like, how can you be mad at me for a dream? So I had to think about it, like, how could I possibly be mad at like my partner because I had like a bad dream? But something felt very uneasy from that moment, and I remember praying to God and saying to God, if this person is cheating on me, I would really, really appreciate if you could like reveal this thing to me. And a couple of days later, I went to London to hang out with a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while, and I was just telling her about this amazing guy I was dating and how things were going so well. And I just also said to her, listen, I feel like something is going on. I can't put my finger around it. Like, I think this guy is cheating on me, but like, it's going so well. So I just don't know, it was kind of conflicted. And my friend said, oh, you know what, you're paranoid. I was like, I'm not like paranoid. Like, I was at that point, I definitely wasn't even paranoid. So I was like, no, I'm not a paranoid person. Like, I just have this feeling, but whatever, right? So I had a good time. I went back home. As soon as I got back home, maybe like, not as soon, I think maybe like 30 minutes, settled into my house, relaxing, saying I had a great day. My friend rang me, and then she goes, Tommy, I think I know why your man is acting weird. I was thinking, first of all, my friend hasn't met my man, so I'm like, what is this girl talking about? And this girl said I was paranoid and crazy, right? So like, what is she on about? So I said, okay, cool, like, why do you think he's acting crazy? She goes, okay, so I have a friend, I'm just gonna call the friend Faye. She's like, I have a friend called Faye, and my friend she met this guy about 3 months ago. The guy's name is the name of my ex at the time, so let's just say T. The guy's name is T. he works in the same company that your man works in. And I just thought, what are the odds that you you guys are dating two different guys who have the same name and work in the same company? And then I was like, so I was like, does your friend have a picture of her man? And she was like, oh yeah, I'll ask her to send a picture. This girl sent a picture and it was my boyfriend. At this point, I was just like, you know how everybody always says they know how to react if they get cheated on, but I swear I didn't know what to do. I was just like, and I remember calling him and I said, who is Faye? And he was just like, told me I can explain, da 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 da, And a couple of days later, this guy actually showed up in at my house from Nigeria, and then I was very pissed off. He was begging, his mother was begging, his father was begging, his brother was begging, like everybody everybody was begging, and I felt a little like pressured into getting back into this relationship. And I prayed to God about it, and I said, listen, I don't know what to do, and like, if you want me to get back together with this person, please give me a sign. And lo and behold, I got the sign that I asked for. So I said, okay, cool, God knows better than I do, I'm gonna go back into this relationship. I went back into the relationship, and obviously after like a big cheating scandal like that, like, it's really hard for your relationship to go back to normal. But I guess we tried as much as we could. I went back into the relationship, things seemed good. I went back to Nigeria. My boyfriend said, work is so intense, always busy, always like, just always so busy. And I didn't really think much of it, but I knew like I wasn't very happy with the way the relationship was going. And then one day I was having lunch with my friends, and I think this was really the time where everything kind of, I don't know if the word is accumulated, like I was just confused. It made me like, I felt at this point like, who am I actually in a relationship with? I got a call from this girl, and the girl says, she said to me, she says, hey, is this Tommy? And I'm just like, yeah, who is this? And she's like, is your boyfriend T? I was like, at that point I knew what it was. Like, without knowing what it was, I knew what it was. So she's like, is your boyfriend T? And I said, what do you want? And she said, well, it's also my boyfriend. I said, okay, how long have you guys been together? And I think she said a couple of months. At this point, I'd been with him for about 3-4 years. I said, okay, cool. I got off the phone with a lady, and I called T, and I said, hey, what is going on? Like, somebody called me and said da da, and he's like, tell me, where are you? I'm coming to meet you. I can explain this. And I was just like, don't call me again. Like, I was just so shocked. And as if that wasn't enough, like, he was still begging me. And so at that point, he went back to this girl that called me, and he went to her house, and he told the girl to call me and tell me that it's a lie. And so this girl calls me, and she's like, what did you tell me? What did you tell him? It's outside my door, and he's telling me to tell you it's a lie. It's not a lie. Like, it was just like a very like crazy situation. So I was still processing that, and then a day later I got a call from another girl, and that one said, hey, we're dating the same guy. At this point, I'm just like, oh my god. So I called him, and I put on a 3-way call. So this other girl who says she's dating him, like, I put on a 3-way call, and I said, listen, just shush, let's hear what he's going to say. I called my supposed boyfriend at the time, and I said, hey, there's somebody just rang me, and this is another girl telling me that you guys are in a relationship. What? Like, he's like, okay, you know what, Tommy, I have to agree, like, I have to admit that, like, I was sleeping with this girl, but we're not in a relationship. I'm sorry, I've made mistakes, I've done that, like, this girl doesn't mean anything to me, she never did. And this girl was on the other end of the line, and this girl just loses it. She's like, you liar, you deceived me, like, I told you everything. And then he's like, I don't love you. And then this girl and my supposed boyfriend at the time are having an argument about who is lying and who is not lying. And I'm just listening to a conversation, just thinking, like, what was this person, like, what am I doing in my life? Like, I am you. Like, I was so confused. I was so sad. I felt like, what is wrong with me? Like, why am I not enough for this person? I in my mind I was done. I didn't even pray about it. I didn't ask God for anything. I was like, me, I am gone. And I remember, like, I wasn't talking to him. His father again was begging, his mother was begging, his brother was begging, and his brother was saying, I don't know what's wrong with my brother, I'm not like him, which, by the way, he's like him, but like, let's not go into that. And he too was begging, and I just didn't know what to do. So I stopped taking anyone's calls, and I got a strange number from a pastor. And the pastor called me and kind of said he wanted to hear my side, he wanted to talk to me. I am a Yoruba girl, and this is an elderly pastor, so I agreed to meet with the pastor at like a restaurant type of thing. And at that point I just cried my heart out, and I was just saying, like, I don't know what I've done to deserve this. Like, I don't know what's going on. And the pastor was like, yeah, like, I totally understand, like, it's da. And the pastor says he needed to go to the bathroom, and as the pastor was coming back from the bathroom, it was my boyfriend at the time. And he knelt down, he was begging, he was crying. They said he was going to like MFM, which is like some like Pentecostal church where they pray really hard. He was going to go to the mountain. He needed to be delivered. The pastor was asking me to forgive as a good Christian lady, and I just felt very ambushed, and I forgave again. And it was just downhill from there. I had like women in my DMs like messaging me, telling me that I was a fool, I was ugly, it was my fault, like he's gonna cheat again, like and just off topic, but that's why, like, the old Danae Jackson and Derek thing, it really got to me, because I've been the person that has been like cheated on so badly, and I have people like mock you and just feeling very helpless through the process. And he went to, I guess, the mountain, and I guess prayed away his problems, and I forgave again, because again, like, I didn't really have any counsel, but it was like, follow your heart, and which is a stupid advice, and I went with it. And that passed a year later, like, things were supposedly going well, and we got engaged. And sorry, my dog. We got engaged, and I remember like putting the ring on my finger, and those, when I watch YouTube videos and like stuff for all those girls feeling happy on their engagement, I didn't feel that way. I felt like, oh my god, what am I doing? But I felt like I also had to tell everyone like I was engaged, like it was the appropriate thing to do. And I remember the morning after I got engaged, I wanted to just take it back, but it felt right. We'd been dating for a while, I was, I think, almost 25 at the time. It felt like the right thing to do, and I moved forward with it. We had our introduction. Our introduction is the first thing that you do in like my tribe in Nigeria, where you're from. And we had our introduction, we picked the date, we paid for the venue, the wedding was on. It was on. And I just remember feeling like I couldn't do it. Like, we got engaged in August, and in February I called it off. And it wasn't an easy thing to do, and I think a lot of people feel like when you are the one who called it off or broke up with someone that it was easy for you to do. It was not easy, but I looked at my life. I saw myself being married to a very wealthy person. I saw myself living in a fancy house, driving a fancy car, going on fancy vacations, being a lucky wife, and I wasn't happy. And I felt if I wasn't happy before getting married, I was not going to be happy after getting married. If somebody cheated on me repeatedly before getting married, he wasn't going to stop because we got married. And I had to let it go. And it's tough because where I'm from, marriage is like the goal. And you know, when you find somebody on paper who was fantastic like that, it just felt like a natural thing to do. And so it was going against everything that I was brought up with, to say no, to say I don't want to go ahead with it. And you know, I remember like I didn't tell my parents for a while, and you know, this wedding was on, and you know, they were planning it. And I remember telling my mom one day that it was off. And I think, I wouldn't say she was instantly supportive. Like after a while she did become super supportive and, you know, respected my decision. And I also remember telling an uncle of mine, you know, when he asked about the wedding and I said it was off, and he said why, and I said I just don't think that I'm going to be happy in this relationship, and I feel like there's more infidelity down the road. And he said to me, a man that doesn't cheat, where are you gonna find that one? And you know, even my ex's mother said to me, there are two types of men in the world. There are men who cheat and are unrepentant about it and put it in your face, and there are men who cheat and apologize. You have the latter. That is a good one. And so everybody said I was crazy, you know, even like single divorced ladies, older women said to me that I made the wrong choice and I had to I should go back into that relationship. So I felt pressured. And I remember like months after we started seeing each other again, and months after I wanted to get back together with this person, and we were having lunch, and a friend of mine, one of my best friends, calls me and says, oh hey, what are you up to? And I couldn't say what I was doing because I knew what I was doing was wrong. And so I lied. And I felt like any relationship where you have to hide, I don't think you should be in that relationship, you know. And it was tough. I was depressed. I was mad at God. I said, you know, this was God's fault. God told me to stay. This was him. And I remember just going on a frolic of my own, just dating whoever I wanted to date, just doing whatever I wanted to do. Like, I didn't care. I was not, you know, I wasn't trying to worship God or serve God or any of that stuff. And I remember one of the guys that I was casually seeing at the time, you know, he said, you know, sorry, we were having sex, and in the middle of having sex, I broke down crying, and he was like, and I was like, this is not me. This is not me. This is not who I am, and I'm not myself. And you know, and thankfully he was a decent guy, and he just said, what do you need? And I said, you know, I guess I just need to grieve. I just needed to mourn the loss of what could have been, what I thought I wanted. And you know, I just stopped doing the things that I was doing, and I just kind of went back to God and just said, you know what, I'm mad at you and I still don't like you, but I've got no one else. I've got no one else. So listen, if you don't fix me, no one's gonna fix me. And yeah, like I just kind of kept pushing. I remember bumping into my ex one day, and I was in a wreck after bumping into him. Like, I was sad and stuff, and you know, months later or like years later, I remember like bumping into him again, and I even forgot about it. And I think I was talking to my friend a couple of weeks later I was like, hey, you know what, I actually bumped into T. And wow, it made me realize just how much growth had happened in that time. And you know, I think I just want to say that it's okay to leave a toxic situation. It's okay to go against the traditions and the norms and what you thought you wanted. It's okay to look at the long term like plan for your life and say this does not fit into it, and it's never ever too late to start all over again. And I don't think this was to bash my ex. You know, people change and maybe he's not the person that he was. I think this is more just to say that it's it was a tough decision, but it was a necessary decision. And I think oftentimes we don't want to make necessary decisions because they are tough. And if I had stayed in that relationship, I would not be where I am today. And in many ways, I'm thankful for that relationship because the amount of growth that came out of it is phenomenal. And you know, man, I don't know. I'm probably not gonna post this at this point because I'm just like rambling. But I want to talk about like how all of that led me to where I am right now. And I remember feeling frustrated about living in Nigeria and wanting a break. I wanted to leave. And I remember that when I got my Canadian permanent residence, I didn't want to leave anymore. I started off the process wanting to go, but when I finally got it, I didn't want to leave. Like, I was involved in a project in my former job that I needed to just, you know, do. And I remember just saying, okay, I'm not going to move to Canada. And my friend, I remember praying to God. I think it was on the Thursday I prayed to God, and I said to God, you know, do you want me to move to Canada? Do you want me to change countries? And you know, he said, yes, I want you to go. And I said, listen, God, if the wind goes where you tell it, so will I will go if you say I should go, but I need to know that it is you. I said, that is how you told me that I was going to marry that guy when I didn't marry him. So I need to know that this is you. And you know, I remember him saying this, I never told you to marry that guy. I told you to stay with him at the time because I needed you to learn some lessons that, you know, you needed to pass on to other people through your book, because I wrote a book. And I said, okay, yeah, God, I've heard, but like confirm it to somebody else, because I'm not operating my life just on it. I heard it in my head type of thing. And on a Saturday morning, my friend rang me about 6 a.m. and I said, hey, why are you ringing me so early? She's like, oh, I don't know, I'm just awake and I figured you're gonna have a busy day. And you know, she said, you know what I was thinking? You know, that time you told me that God said you were gonna marry T. And I said, yeah. And she's like, I don't think you were ever going to marry T. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, you know, I was just thinking about it. I think you were supposed to just go through that process. You were supposed to feel the pain and you were supposed to feel the hurt because somebody else needed to learn from it. But you were never going to marry him, you know. And I said, why are you telling me this now? And she's like, I don't know, it just popped in my head. I was like, it doesn't make any sense. This was years later. And I said, oh my God, I've got to move to Canada. And she's like, why? I was like, because you just told me to. She's like, well, I was like, no, like God told me to move to Canada, but you just said it. And she's like, I said nothing about Canada. I was like, no, and I've got to move in January, because when God had told me, he told me to go in January of 2020. And he was like, and I was like, no, I don't want to go in January of any 2020. Like, and so when my friend told me that, I said, okay. I went back to God and I said, okay, I'll move. If you want me to move, I'll move. And I, you know, uprooted my life. Moved here in January, sorry, my camera stopped recording. So started preaching my life, and I moved here in 2020, and the pandemic started, and I was stuck at home, and that's when I met my fiance. And if I didn't move in January 2020, I wouldn't have moved last year. I wouldn't have met my partner, and I wouldn't obviously be where I am in terms of like relationship, you know. And so I think it's weird because I'm not trying to preach, but I'm trying to say that you have to trust that God has something better out there for you when you're in a bad space in your life, and you have to trust that everything that you're going through, I wouldn't say it's for a reason per se, but is helping you for the next phase of your life. Because the person that I am today, like, Jared is getting top-notch Tommy. He's getting like good old Tommy. You know, the person that I am today is not the same person that I was a couple of years ago. And I think, you know, one of the things I learned from that situation was not just to blame my ex-boyfriend for all the wrongs in the relationship. It was also to look at myself and ask myself, why did I let someone treat me that way? Why did I stay in a place that wasn't serving me? Why did I stay with someone that was perpetually hurting me? And I had to answer all of those questions in order for me to heal and to grow. I had to know why I was choosing to hurt myself. You know, because it's easy to say somebody was doing it to you, but nobody put your bum there, you know. So I was staying, and I had to ask myself, what was it about? Where was I in my life that was okay? And you know, I've learned all those lessons. I've asked myself all those questions. I've gotten the answers, and you know, and I know I won't take that anymore. Like I couldn't, you know, take that anymore. And it also made me wiser with choosing who I, you know, will spend the rest of my life with, because I knew that I didn't want to repeat of that. And yeah, I feel like I'm babbling, and I guess I just wanted to share that story. I don't know if it's helpful. I don't know if y'all are just gonna be like, this goes crazy, but I just want to say to anyone who's in a bad situation that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you can leave and you can start all over again, and you're not used up, washed up, messed up. You are good enough. You just have to believe it. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.